right, I would like to continue the Village of Bronxville Board of Trustees meeting for June 8th, 2026, and ask all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this is, I can speak for the trustees, this is our favorite night of the year to honor each and every one of our officers. Thank you all for being here. It's wonderful you're here for your colleagues and friends. And you know you have our support and always will. So I just want to start with a major thank you. And Chief, are you first?
You ready for him?
Always ready for you, Chief. You look pretty dapper.
I got some sun and no fish, so I wish it was the other way around.
Yeah.
I fooled them all into showing up tonight because my retirement walkout. So I wanted to make sure enough people showed up. Good evening, Mayor, trustees, Mr. Palmer. We're here this evening for two events. One is the promotion of two of our officers from police officer to sergeant, and the other is for awards, our annual department awards. The promotions are possible because of a restructuring of the police department that resulted in a sergeant vacancy, and the second vacancy is a result of the retirement of Sergeant Cheryl Jaros. Cheryl joined the police department 14 years ago. She rose through the ranks, was the first female officer assigned to the detective division, and was the first female officer promoted to the level of sergeant. She will be retiring on June 15th. She was in charge of our community events. She's done a tremendous job during the time here in Bronxville, and I personally and the department wish her well in retirement. I'm going to hand over the microphone, believe it or not, to Lieutenant Nicholas DeYoung, the department's executive officer and second in command. He will handle the promotions and the awards, and I will assist him.
Perfect. Thank you, Lieutenant.
So our first promotion of the night is going to be Sergeant Matthew Stein.
I guess why don't you bring the other sergeant up, then the board can do one resolution.
And our second promotion is going to be Sergeant Brandon.
Mayor, in advance of the officers taking their oaths of office, did you just want to jump to new business and approve the resolution authorizing the appointments, the promotion of the officers to sergeant?
Well, that makes total sense, Mr. Palmer. All right. And I would like to move that resolution, and I would like a second to formally promote these gentlemen to sergeant. All right, Trustee O'Friel seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Oh, she certainly knows who you are. Look at her. Look at you.
Well, I'm very personally honored to be able to administer this oath of office to you. It's such an important addition to our municipal chat. 5 years, it's been, I remember, June of 2021. And it made such an impact on our community, on our police force, your professionalism, your enthusiasm, your dedication to the community. So, congratulations. So please raise your right hand. I, Matthew Stein, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties imposed upon me as a police sergeant of the Village of Bronxville, honestly and faithfully, and will obey the orders of the officers and officials placed over me for the law.
Chief? Chief, should his whole family come up too?
Sergeant Stein, take this opportunity to introduce your family and invite them up for a photo.
Yes. So I have my wife Tyler here, my daughter Riley is here with me, my two sisters, Kristen and Lisa, my mom Marie, my grandmother Isabel, and then my dad Mitchell.
I'm proud of you, Grandma, right? Yeah.
Normally, we allow the new sergeant to speak, but it is Matt. And the next tip go off when? In a couple of hours? So
8:30.
I don't think he'd be done in time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next promotion is going to be Sergeant Brandon Serrano.
Officer Serrano, your selection as sergeant is a tribute to your hard work, dedication, qualifications for this promotion. We're proud of all our police officers and the fact that you've been nominated for this position for their leadership in our village is well merited. We're delighted to have you and all of your fellow officers with the force. But on this day, congratulations on your promotion. If you would raise your right hand and give the oath of office. You repeat after me. I, Brandon Serrano, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties imposed upon me as a police sergeant of the Village of Bronxville, New York, honestly and faithfully, and will obey the orders of the officers and officials placed over me according to the law. Congratulations.
Well, it's not sergeant yet, it's 15th. So Officer Serrano, we have like, what, 5-6 days to change our mind. Invite up and introduce other members of your family, please.
I have my mom, Kelly, my dad, O'Neill, my nephew, Mason. I have my in-laws, Mary and Walter, my grandfather, and my titi, Marisol.
He's ready for the game.
Who's ready for the game?
He's glad I didn't let Stein talk.
Pretty nice. Yeah, I'll let you know.
He's a little late. One way to get the kid to become the president of the year.
Okay, we're going to move on to our presentation of our department awards for the year 2025. Our first awards, could I please have Sergeant Butler? Please, come on up. Police Officer Nicole Longo. Police Officer Fadi Cater. And Police Officer Dave DiBenedetto could not be here tonight. On October 11th, 2025, at approximately 3:38 a.m., Sergeant Butler was monitoring village CCTV camera system from headquarters when he observed a male wearing a black hooded sweatshirt tampering with a mailbox in front of the post office. Recognizing a potential crime in progress, Sergeant Butler immediately dispatched Officers Longo, Cater, and DiBenedetto to the scene, providing a detailed description of the suspect. Officer Longo arrived promptly and observed an individual matching the description walking westbound on Pondfield Road, moving away from the post office. Acting decisively, Officer Longo stopped the individual while Officers Cater and DiBenedetto arrived to assist. As Officers Cater and DiBenedetto questioned the suspect, Officer Longo inspected the mailbox and discovered a black belt coated with a sticky substance along with mouse glue traps. Several pieces of mail were stuck to the belt. The individual was subsequently placed under arrest and charged with criminal possession of stolen property. What initially appeared to be a routine call was in reality a crime that threatened the privacy, security, and trust of the residents. Through swift action, sound judgment, and coordinated teamwork, these officers brought the situation under control and prevented further victimization. Because of their professionalism, vigilance, and exemplary performance, Sergeant Butler, Officers Longo, Cater, and DiBenedetto will be receiving the Excellent Police Duty Award. Put this down for a second. Sergeant Butler. Congratulations. For our next awards, we call up Police Officer Nicole Longo again. Should have just got comfortable. Police Officer Brandon Serrano, soon to be Sergeant Brandon Serrano. And Police Officer Jason Cooper, who could not be here tonight. On October 14th, 2025, at 3:18 a.m. in the morning, just 3 days after the previous incident, Officer Longo was monitoring the village cameras when she noticed a white Hyundai parked illegally under the village cameras and a male wearing a black hooded sweatshirt appearing to be tampering with the mailbox in front of the post office. Officer Longo dispatched Officer Serrano and Cooper to the location, along with the description of the male and the vehicle seen on camera. Officer Serrano arrived on scene and observed the vehicle with the male matching the description given. Without hesitation, Officer Serrano detained the man until Officer Cooper arrived. While conducting an investigation, Officer Serrano inspected the mailbox and once again found a black belt with a sticky substance on it and mail attached. The individual was placed under arrest and charged with criminal possession of stolen property. Later, an inventory was done of the vehicle, and officers found 29 personal checks, several checks made out to different businesses, numerous belts, sticky mouse traps, and torches. Officers whose vigilance, swift action, and dedication to protecting our community made a meaningful difference. Responding rapidly to a crime in progress involving mailbox tampering, these officers demonstrated the importance of preparedness, teamwork, and proactive policing. Officers Longo, Serrano, and Cooper will be receiving the Excellent Police Duty Award.
Lieutenant,
Yes.
can I just say, I want to acknowledge our county legislator, James Nolan, who came just for this ceremony because of his. And at 6'7" and standing, it wasn't hard for me to see James, but I know the support you have for this force, and it shows a great deal of respect that you came tonight. So thank you. Thank you.
For our next award, I'm going to call up Sergeant Nigel Butler, Detective Justin Sokol, Police Officer Sidney Newberry, and Police Officer Jason Kaiser. Sorry, Nicole, you have to sit this one. On May 29th, 2025, at approximately 7:24 p.m., Sergeant Butler advised that he was conducting a traffic stop at Pondfield Road and Valley Road on a vehicle bearing a North Carolina registration. The vehicle and its male occupants were wanted in connection with multiple e-bike larcenies within the village. Officer Kaiser and Newberry arrived on scene to assist. During the stop, Sergeant Butler identified the driver as the primary suspect involved in the larcenies. The driver was subsequently placed under arrest without incident. Officer Kaiser then observed a male passenger flee from the vehicle on foot. Officers Kaiser and Newberry initiated a foot pursuit while Detective Sokol responded to assist. The fleeing individual ran from Pondfield Road, across the craft lot, and across the train tracks before being located by Detective Sokol in the rear of 81 Parkway Road, hiding in a children's playset. That individual was also placed under arrest. These officers demonstrated exceptional determination, teamwork, and commitment to public safety. While actively searching for a wanted individual, Sergeant Butler quickly identified the primary suspect connected to the ongoing larcenies. When the second individual fled, Officers Kaiser, Newberry, and Detective Sokol acted decisively, pursuing through challenging terrain with professionalism and unwavering focus. Through their coordinated efforts, both suspects were safely apprehended, preventing further victimization and bringing to an end a series of e-bike thefts. Because of their excellent work, Sergeant Butler, Officers Kaiser, Newberry, and Detective Sokol will be receiving the Excellent Police Duty Award. Sydney? For our next award, if we could have Officer Nicole Longo, haven't heard that name all night. Police Officer Brandon Serrano, and Police Officer Jason Cooper, who also could not be here. On November 15th, 2025, at approximately 2:21 a.m., Officer Serrano radioed headquarters reporting that he was conducting a traffic stop behind headquarters and that the motorist was armed with a knife. He immediately requested additional units. Desk Officer Longo quickly and calmly dispatched Officer Cooper and Tuckahoe Police to respond to assist. As the encounter escalated, the individual advanced towards Officer Serrano while holding a knife and yelling, "Shoot me. I don't want to talk. I don't want to live." Officer Serrano drew his firearm but maintained composure, continuously giving clear commands for the individual to drop the knife, while tactically creating distance by walking backward to maintain safety. Officer Cooper arrived moments later, rapidly assessed the situation, and drew his taser. As the individual continued to ignore Officer Serrano's lawful commands, Officer Cooper deployed his taser, allowing officers to safely subdue and disarm the individual. The subject was handcuffed, taken into custody, and later transported to the hospital for a psychological evaluation due to express suicide by cop ideation. He was also later charged with menacing a police officer. In the face of immediate danger, these officers demonstrated courage, professionalism, and exceptional restraint. By relying on their training, maintaining discipline, under pressure, and using appropriate force, they brought a volatile and potentially deadly encounter to a safe and controlled conclusion. Policing demands split-second decision-making under extraordinary stress. These officers met that challenge with unwavering composure and an unshakable commitment to preserving life. Because of their bravery, sound judgment, and dedication to public safety, police officers Serrano, Cooper, and Longo will be receiving a meritorious police award. For our final award of the night, I can ask Sergeant Nigel Butler, Police Officer Jason Kaiser, and Police Officer Paul Cozzolino up. On December 7th, 2025, at approximately 10 p.m., the police department received multiple calls from residents at the North Rivermere Apartments for a fire in the building, with numerous residents trapped in their apartments. Desk Sergeant Butler remained calm and professional in the dispatching of Officers Cozzolino and Kaiser to the location, as well as immediately requesting mutual aid and advising the fire department. Upon the officers' arrival, they confirmed an active fire. Officers Cozzolino and Kaiser quickly and safely entered the burning building to help residents evacuate until the fire department arrived. Once the fire department arrived, they continued to work with FD and to evacuate and attend to those who were already evacuated. Although this tragic incident resulted in the loss of a life, the three officers that were the first responders did an exceptional job and were instrumental in saving many more lives. When most people see flames, smoke, and danger, their instinct is to run away to protect themselves. But Officers Cozzolino and Kaiser were different. These officers were faced with a rapidly developing and life-threatening situation, a burning building filled with chaos, fear, and uncertainty. Without hesitation and with complete disregard for their own personal safety, they ran towards the danger. This is why Sergeant Butler, Officers Cozzolino and Kaiser are receiving the Life-Saving Award.
Mayor, that concludes our ceremony. Due to a scheduling conflict, we do have a civilian award that we will be bestowing upon the superintendent of Rivermere North. Upon discovering the fire, he put a ladder up to the second floor of the building and rescued a woman that was in the apartment that was on fire. We will invite him to the July meeting and present him with a civilian award.
That would be terrific, because that gentleman was a hero as well.
Incredible work. I'd like to acknowledge, while hiding, Police Officer Anthony Franciotti. While not an award recipient, is here to support the officers that were promoted and received awards. And to that point, while we acknowledge acts of heroic behavior on all parts of everybody that's here tonight, it's important to note that the more than 3,000 routine calls per year that are handled by these officers and the remaining officers that weren't able to be here tonight, it's just a testament to their dedication to the village, to the residents, the merchants, and the visitors. They go about their business every day, weekends, holidays. They miss time with their family to come here and make sure that Bronxville is a safe place to live, work, and shop. So every member of the department, in my mind, is deserving of an award tonight and acknowledgement and recognition of their hard work. To just the 2 awards, not to single anybody out, the mail theft, it really should be a reminder to everybody, just don't mail checks. This continues to happen. Do automatic transfers, do pay in person. If you must mail a check, use a black Sharpie, fill every portion of the check out, even the memo, even the pay to line. Fill it out with a permanent marker because the continuing thefts and washing of these checks is a problem. But to the Brandon and Nicole Award, that was an incredible scenario to watch via body cam and street cameras. It will be used in all our training scenarios moving forward. The restraint that Officer Serrano showed and the tactical response coordinated by Officer Longo was something to be extremely proud of. There were several moments within that scenario where Officer Serrano was justified to use deadly physical force, something that we never want to have to encounter or activate. He retreated when he didn't have to, used verbal commands, was aware that the subject was in some medical distress, and chose that retreat until Officer Cooper could tactically respond and subdue the individual. So just an incredible act of bravery in the face of extreme danger, and we're very proud to have them as members of our team. Casalino, Kaiser, and Butler with the fire. Watching that, Casalino flashing back to his football days. I know he's a big baseball guy, but kicking indoors and taking names, as we say in my profession, undoubtedly saved countless number of people that night. Casalino and Kaiser, through toxic, dangerous smoke, absolutely did an incredible job in getting people out, notifying people. Again, 10 o'clock at night. Most were sleeping. Fire alarms many were not installed, and several were not audible. So the 2 officers did an incredible job with Nigel in charge of communications. And it's important to note that in Nicole's award and Nigel's award, Sergeant Butler's awards, the communication is critical. While you may walk in to pay a fine or pay your taxes and see the officer at the desk, there's a lot that goes into that communication and dispatching, and there's a lot of technology, as you've heard, that this board has supported to arrest the direct result of the desk officer watching our cameras and being able to detect criminal activity. So I'm extremely proud of every single member here and those that aren't for the work that they do for me and the lieutenant every single day. Just incredible work by a group of dedicated members of the department. So thank you for your support, and thank you for that.
We feel the same. This board knows that we have the best department in the county, and we have the utmost in the state.
I'll take that.
All right, let's go, country. But seriously, we have so much gratitude and respect for you and for your families, who I know how important it is to have a family stand by you. So I'd like to congratulate you, but also congratulate your families. minute's break and you guys will get to go see the Knicks warm up, right? Yeah.
Mayor, if I may just have 30
Yes,
seconds.
absolutely.
You know, our deputy mayor, Bob Underhill, unfortunately can't be here tonight. But I have heard him say or make the comment that many people in Bronxville will immediately identify the school as Bronxville's greatest resource, to which Bob's comment is, I will give equal status as Bronxville's most valuable resource, our police department. This evening, I am not going to question the deputy mayor's assessment. Thank you to all and to all of your colleagues who are not here. Thank you.
I think perhaps before we take a break, County Legislator, would you like to say anything? Come to the microphone.
I was keeping it short. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your service, and just know that we always have your back.
And I was sorry that young gentleman wanted more than a mayor here. Yeah, yeah. And Thomas Morzillo, thank you for taking all the pictures. We have a small shop, so everybody does a little bit of everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming.
Mayor, I don't know if you might want to mention, we have, Reed Doherty is here.
Who is here?
Reed Doherty who's a freshman at the Bronxville School. Anyway, he wants to learn about municipal government, and I've had some conversations with him. I'm introducing the department heads. Reed, you're welcome to stay if you can. Stand up a little bit. You're welcome to continue staying if you have time. Yeah. I was just telling the mayor that, anyway, he's learning about government, and so I said, come to our meeting. We're just taking a break for a couple minutes. We're gonna get right back again. If you
Just to let the officers go home. Everybody else can move up.
can hear. Can you change it? Yeah.
I bring a sweater now.
These are green certification.
Now, Jim Palmer, we need the police chief, though, to go through the speed data.
Yes, he's gonna come right back too. Let's give him a minute. Yeah, we'll have to.
All right, yes, come, I was going to
Please
say.
come back close. Come closer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, running like crazy.
Come
when
on
you said you
up.
were gonna start at 7.
Thanks, Marilyn. Thank you for coming.
Bless
you. I got you. Yeah. Got your letter. Thank you. I'll make it part of the record.
Did you get my letter?
I sure did. And we're not,
Reed,
we're going to get right to the public hearing. So it's, yeah. Well, yeah.
Always well dressed, Mayor.
I don't think we'll even charge as much as the Knicks for front row seats,
You
right?
don't have to, but it's up to
I
you.
heard they're going for $300,000. Yep. And the bad seats for $35,000. Oh, good. Thank you for coming. All good. Yeah.
Your Go Knicks orange tie.
Yeah. Thanks, James. Thank you. You know Vanessa, our new trustee.
Thank you very much.
James, we'll get up to the park in that right time. I promise.
Good night, James. And we're just waiting for the police chief. And then let's do our report after and let these folks, let's move to,
Shall we approve the minutes?
all right. Yes, that's a good idea. Do I have a motion to approve minutes for the executive session, the work session, and the regular meeting of May 11th? And also, we had a special meeting, the minutes of May 27th. I will move that. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The minutes pass. Thank you, Mary Ann. I keep looking for mistakes and I don't. Thank you. And I think the chief, should I wait for the chief? Yeah, we'll wait for, because I want you to be able to go home because the rest of our business is pretty mundane. And thank you for coming. You're Reed? Yeah. And Reed, do you want to tell us you're working, just interested in government? Okay, and it's Reed Delaney? Doherty, Reed Doherty, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. And feel free whenever you have to go home and do homework, you just, yeah.
Or watch the Knicks.
Oh, I'm just hearing your father is head of our library. I didn't connect the last names. Wow. So you come from a family of nice volunteers. Well, you can run for this job the minute you turn 18. Were you over here in second grade? Yes. Okay, so you and I know each other. Yeah. We go way back, right? Thank you all. I was up in your neighborhood today. James Thomas took me up just so I could to see Avon Road and Plateau and the proposed island, and because I'm much better at being the visual than looking at all the pictures. So, basically, so you know, what we're going to do is open a public hearing and then keep it open, but we want to listen to all the thoughts of the neighbors. Thank you, Chief and Lieutenant. Thanks. All right, our cameraman, we're still on? Okay, perfect. All righty. Then I would like a motion to open a public hearing, Local Law 2-2026, amendment to the Vehicle and Traffic Chapter of the Village Code. And this talks about extending no parking areas on Avon in the vicinity of Prescott. But the hearing also covers the issue of any kind of driving, speeding, whatever, folks. The hearing covers the whole area of Avon.
So I will move to open the hearing.
All righty, and I need a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, the hearing is open, and I'm going to have both Mr. Palmer and the chief and/or the lieutenant talk about what research that you have done, just to let the public know, residents who live along the Avon corridor have brought traffic concerns to our attention. And Mr. Palmer has been the point person on this, and the chief has accumulated data. So we're going to get the information from what you found out in response to the residents. Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor said, this is the public hearing for some possible changes to the vehicle and traffic chapter of the code as it relates to Avon. The purpose of tonight's discussion is really the area on Avon, essentially from the intersection of Governor's Road and/or Plateau East and/or West, all the way down towards Park Avenue. And as the village always does, whenever the board considers a promulgation, we get the input, seek the input from the neighborhood, and we do additional data collection and research. And thank you to those residents that are here. We appreciate it. And for anyone watching, we do also seek your input. And I would suggest to the board that we keep the matter open.
Right.
And But I think it's important to update the community on what we've done thus far. And again, I've had conversations with many residents, and I think their concerns are that there's an excessive number of cars. One resident, Marilyn Hill, provided me a letter today. I'll also include that for the record. But that there's excessive number of cars, excessive speeding, concerns also with sight lines for cars that are parked near the intersection of Prescott. And we've been looking at this, the chief and the lieutenant and I have been looking at this for quite some time. So to date, we've done, following the board's request and the scheduling for the hearing, we have some speed data and volume analysis that we had done for the last 2.5 months, data from March and April into the beginning of May, actually using amazing technology for all vehicles post 2006 being equipped with technology that relays their speed in real time to satellites. And we analyzed that data, that speed data, at 4 points along that corridor, including, again, from Governor to just before 40 Avon Road, then the section from in front of 40 Avon Road, and then right in the front of Prescott, and then also down the hill. So 4 different segments. And for those that are here, I actually did take that data and summarized it. So, and the chief is here, and he'll also take everyone through that data. But just to summarize that data, the average speed limit for that, for inclusive of all corridors, the aggregate was 23 miles per hour. And the 85th percentile was 27 miles per hour. And we use the 85th percentile as the data collection period, with post 85% considered outliers within the industry. So just as the village had done when we did a study to consider reducing to 25 miles an hour, we looked at that 85 percentile. So, and again, we have all that data breaking down. And I should say also within the last 2 months, we did stripe and restriped, improved striping of an island at the intersection of Prescott and Avon. And what I've learned, thanks again to Mrs. Hill, that there actually was a raised island at some point in time in the distant past at Prescott and Avon. But that striping is very important, because up until recently, the stop bar on Prescott was farther back, so it was very difficult to see making a left turn out of Prescott onto Avon Road. So again, just another one of the items that we did was we restriped the island, pulled it closer out, and moved the stop sign farther north, so bringing the cars so they could have improved visibility. So, but one of the items after all this, I would ask the board to request that I follow up with our traffic engineer to do a further review of these items, and specifically that island, with the hopes that we could finalize what that island should be. And then we could, again, this is the island at Prescott and Avon, and we could put bollards like we've done in other places in the downtown, so we can see how vehicles turn and how they move. The other items that we're also looking along that corridor that I've discussed with residents is the double yellow line. Interestingly enough, from Governors down to Park Avenue, the parking is predominantly, or not predominantly, is on the southerly side, where we're talking about potentially restricting, and there's no parking on the northerly side of Avon, and that's because the double yellow line has been shifted. So an item of discussion is centering that, potentially centering that double yellow. Another item that the chief and the lieutenant and I started to look at, that we would want the consultant to also look at, is potentially adding a white line around the corner at the location of where Avon joins Prescott. And that would be the purposes of adding a white line parallel to the curb, not unlike what we did at Midland. And again, those are traffic calming techniques. So the goal here again is to look at that area holistically, take into account concerns that residents have had regarding speeding, traffic flow, sightline, et cetera. So it's principally just wanted to take the group to those points. And then most recently, one of the residents had reached out to me, or Cece Parity at 40 Avon, about speed humps. And we can go through that. The village does have a speed hump policy. And then the chief was kind enough to also review some accident data for that corridor. So maybe it's an appropriate time now to, before you take question and answers from anyone in the public hearing, is to go through that speed data in a little bit more detail.
I will say, just today, watching with our assistant village administrator, the island would have to be raised because nobody paid attention to. I watched them and they just cry. I mean, I don't even know if they see it, but if they see it, they don't pay attention to it. So an island solution, I think, could only be a solution if it was raised.
Truth be told, and what I actually observed when I was out there on Friday, there was actually a car that literally made a U-turn around at the island. So it's striped right now. We want to confirm with the traffic engineer the size of it and where it's located. And yeah, the purpose is obviously multifold, but eventually the goal would be, yes, to raise it and make it mountable and permanent.
The idea of painting the island was phase one of the trial period. Phase two would be to have the engineer come out, make sure our calculations are correct, the turning radiuses are correct. Then we will put stanchions up around that island to direct traffic to make a proper left turn off of Avon into Prescott with proper sight lines, and to make a proper left or go straight coming out of Prescott. So yes, the striping is confusing at this point, but once we get stripers in the village, we need to handcuff them and take them to the spots we need because we rarely get them back. So it was an opportunity to stripe very early in the spring season. We striped it. Now we will add bollards or stanchions. You'll see the little stanchions we do. It's been very successful in other locations where we get feedback from residents and people traveling through the area to say, oh, you know, I like or don't like. And so far, everywhere we've done a trial period with islands, bump outs, raised islands, mountable islands, they've been well received. It's definitely a learning curve on how you're supposed to make a proper turn there. But in evaluating the entire location, that is the most problematic turn that I see in any of what we've evaluated. Right now, people come up Avon and just shoot right into Prescott on a blind curve. If we can get that island built or stanchions put on top of the striping and force people to travel further on Avon till they're out of the blind curve and make a real left turn to head up to Prescott, that would be a one-way in and then have a one-way out. It would make for a much safer turn from Avon onto Prescott. The speed data that came back, again, we were very fortunate to be at a conference where there are a lot of vendors trying to sell you a lot of stuff. It's not really worth much. We were fortunate to run into Urban SDK, and they sell a product, software that tracks vehicles that have GPS in them or Bluetooth in them. And every vehicle made after 2006 has one or the other or both. And in order to test the data, I asked the salesman if he could run for me Avon Road from Park Avenue to Plateau Circle and send me reports while we contemplated whether or not we were going to be a customer. We received those reports, and as the village administrator said, it was March 1 through May 14. There are 4 locations. The nice part about the software is I can pinpoint in front of your home and get data there. I can pinpoint longer stretches. And what we did is we did from Park Avenue to Prescott, Prescott to 40 Avon, and then the corner of Avon on Prescott, and Avon and Prescott Road to 52 Avon. And the
And
results,
that's 24/7.
correct.
Okay.
Every car with Bluetooth or GPS, and again, 2006 or later, every car has it, is tracked by satellite. The results are amazing. I wish I could say that every street in the village had these results. I wish that my street had these results. The average speed, I'll go through the 4 locations. Average speed for location number 1, Avon Road, Governor to 40 Avon, 24 miles an hour. Eastbound, 25 miles an hour. Westbound, 24 miles per hour. 40 Avon Road, in vicinity of 40 Avon Road, so this is directly in front. Average, 24, 25 eastbound, 23 westbound. Corner of Avon Road at Prescott, right on the corner. The average is 23, the aggregate. Eastbound 24, westbound 23. Avon Road from Prescott to 52 Avon, the average is 22, the aggregate. The eastbound is 22, westbound is 21. And in the 85th percentiles on all 3, none of them approach 30 miles per hour, which was the speed limit. And the high is 29, and the low is 26. So the data supports the idea that there's not a speeding problem on any part of that corridor. So we look at speed humps and speed strips and speed signs and radar, and this allows us to direct patrols to locations where we do have speeding problems, and this data is supportive of the idea that speeding is not a problem in that location. That does not mean that we are not going to continue to identify improvements that we can make to reduce the 24 to 22 or reduce a 23 to 20. We're always looking to reduce speeds, but it would not be a situation where we would be enforcing because there are no violations. While we're at,
A lot of these you kept referencing 48 on the Prescott. So that's about from here to where Mary Smith is.
correct.
Okay, and that's right as the light is flashing, you know, to be at 50 miles an hour. So you're basically saying in this 30-foot radius, as you're taking the curve, they're still going on average 10 miles over the speed limit.
They're not.
Chief, could you just
I'm gonna
quickly
get to that.
rephrase the question just for the?
No, I'm going to get to that point. So when you look at the location, the 15, when you see an amber sign, yellow, orange, whatever you want to call it, with black writing on it, that's a suggested speed limit for locations that might have a curve, locations that might have a playground. It is unenforceable. We cannot enforce the 15s, the 20s. The only reduced speed limits that we can enforce are speed zones. So when you see a 15 on a curve or a 20 on a curve, the car could be going 29, we cannot issue a ticket. So it's not a speeding violation. That's a suggested speed, not in any code that we can write a ticket to. Only, well, even over 25, while some may look at the data and say, well, your 95th percentile is 27, they are speeding. Well, technically, they're speeding according to 25, but our officers are trained to a degree of plus or minus 5 miles an hour in estimating speed. So unless they're at 31 and up, we would not be issuing speeding violations for those. We're not allowed to. No, not that we're not going to do. We're not allowed to reduce the speed limit anywhere except the school zone lower than 25. So we couldn't even say, well, the board's going to pass resolution and change the local code to make the curb 15, and then we could write these 25s. Not allowed by New York State law to go lower than 25, except in school zones or exceptional locations like Sagamore Road. Before we went to 30, we got state approval to go to 25 because there was a playground in an area where you don't expect a playground. So it requires state legislation. Correct. Which is legal. So
Can I just interrupt, Mr. Marzella, can we use this microphone? I'm just concerned whether we'll have an audio pickup for the
I
TV,
just,
video.
what we'll do is do
Questions from the
the
floor.
usual order, though, that you give your data, and then we'll let anybody come up and just give name and address and come to the microphone, because the hard part is people watching can't hear
Sure. So the second,
the questions.
no, it's for the
So
crowd.
if Chief, but we want everyone to come to the podium so that the audience, otherwise people watching couldn't hear Cece.
And while we segmented this location, the data from Park Avenue all the way to Plateau Circle is similar. So yes, we did pick a house, pick a location, pick the curve to try and make sure that we weren't missing anything. Are they speeding up the hill and then slowing down as they curve? We went from Park Ave all the way to Plateau Circle, and the numbers were identical. The second source of data that we obtain is from our records management system. We went back 25 years. We're fortunate in a way that we have the same system for 25 years. Tomorrow it's going away and we're transitioning to a new records management system. But we went back 25 years for anything in proximity to that curve. I went for 50 Avon, 40, 46, all the way to Plateau Circle, all the way to Park Avenue. In 25 years, we've had 5 accidents. 2 of those accidents were the result of distracted drivers. One was a DWI, and the second was a gentleman who said he was looking at his phone, looked up, hopped the curb, and hit a pole. So we attribute both of those, obviously, to impaired driver and a distracted driver. So we're left with 3 what we call exchanges. They're property damage, motor vehicle accidents, resulting in less than $1,000 in damage and no injury. So for 25 years, there have been no accidents in that entire stretch resulting in injury, ambulance call, or pedestrians. So we take all of that data in deciding whether or not we do a directed patrol for radar, whether we eliminate parking, whether we build islands, whether we shorten the roadways. And so far, neither of those data points support many changes to those locations. Again, not that we're not continuing to look at it and say, maybe if we narrow the lanes like we did in other places, we'll reduce these speeds even more than can. Maybe improved signage will help reduce the speeds even more. The island will definitely improve that location. It will make for a better left turn. It will slow people down coming past the homes on the right side as they're going towards Park Ave, because there'll be an island there and the lane of traffic will be 10 feet instead of right now it's a lot wider than that. So we struggle at times with the recommended signs. People think they're going to do 15 and we can be out there enforcing those recommended speed limits. We cannot. And the bigger struggle right now on every road in the village is volume. We can't control volume. There's no magic bullet that allows us to control volume. And the volume in the village and throughout Westchester County has increased dramatically in the last 3 to 5 years. It's a combination when you're on what used to be a quiet road, when you're on a small side street, it's a combination of still remote work where people are home and they're driving out for lunch and they're driving out to pick something up. But most importantly, and the most impact is GPS systems. If you're driving on Sagamore Road and pre-GPS, now people use, and I've told the board tonight, I get in my car right now to drive home, I use GPS. Not that I'm old and I'm gonna get lost, it's traffic. If there's an accident, I want it telling me, don't take this brain, take the Bronx River. So everybody is using GPS. If you're driving on Sagamore Road and you wanted to come to this building, prior to GPS or with no GPS, you'd drive down Sagamore Road, go Craft, left on Midland, and you'd be here. GPS now tells you, make a left on Avon, avoid those lights, make a right on Midland, and you're here. If you're driving south on Midland and you want to go to Yonkers, you want to go to the hospital, you want to go to the west side, prior to GPS, go make a right on Tanglewild, go down, stop sign, and get to the underpass. Right now, it tells you, make a right on Avon, go to Sagamore, go down the hill and get in the underpass. So these are things we have to live with. The popularity of Uber Eats and meal deliveries has added a ton of volume to every street in the village, and volume is a concern that we've yet to have a solution for. You see Midland Avenue back up at 3 o'clock. It used to be just the school. Now it's backed up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30. You can't get through. Pondfield Road backs up sometimes all the way to Locust Lane, waiting for the lights. So we're working where there are traffic signals to try and speed up the main thoroughfare to allow for traffic to flow and no stacking. But roads like Avon Road are at this point victim of GPS.
Chief,
volume.
we obviously want to hear, allow time for people in the audience to speak, and I don't want to cut you off, but could you also address the issue of parking? Because my understanding is the issue originally came up in the context of one or two homeowners that I think one of whom is here, having concern about parking in front of their home, and then there were also other neighbor concerns about speed. So you've spoken a lot about whether there's a speed problem or not, volume problems and whatnot. Could you just, if you don't have more to say on the speeding issue, can you just briefly address the parking issue? Because the specific request is to ban parking in a particular stretch. I'd just like to hear your perspective on that aspect of it and what the considerations are from your perspective as the village's chief safety officer as to when you should or shouldn't restrict parking in a particular stretch.
We rely on the same data, mostly accident data. If cars parked curbside are creating a hazardous condition and contributing to accidents, we look at prohibiting those locations. In this location, we're trying to improve sight distance, especially coming out of Prescott. We believe that the island will do that. Further consideration will be done, and review will be done with our traffic engineer to see if potentially a no parking here to corner is appropriate, no parking to within driveways is appropriate. I would find it difficult backing out of my driveway if I was in either one of those homes when a car is parked right up to my driveway. So a total prohibition, the data that we use does not support it at this point, but a review of here to corner and here to driveway and end lines, as the village administrator mentioned, the white lines, and some proper signage should improve the conditions up there as they relate to parking. Coming down the hill, I know there's two components of the proposed legislation. As you turn the corner and come down the hill towards Park Avenue, I absolutely support prohibiting parking there. It's the lane of traffic. We've had issues with employees and residents parking there and forcing cars to go over the WL line to go around them. So I think the proposed legislation should be in two pieces, because one, I think, is a very easy one to support, while the other one's going to require a little more work to see if it's something that is prudent to do.
What kind of accident data do you have?
25 years, 3 accidents.
And that's, I mean, parked car data, you don't.
No parked cars have been hit up there. It's 3 accidents in 25 years. Well, of the 3 exchanges, yes. Yes. Have you reported them? Have you reported them to the? Okay. I can only go by the data that we have in our system. So if.
Okay. No,
Maybe this would be a good time to hear from the residents.
Yeah.
Hear where these issues are coming from and where
anybody would like to just get, stand at the microphone, name and address, and just talk about your, view of the issues. I think everybody here lives on Avon.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the police. The fact that we're asking questions has nothing to do with how much we value your service. Okay,
Is there anybody here from Prescott or everybody's here from Avon?
Avon.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
and Prescott, right. No, my questions are, first of all, if you were to see John and me out there hiding in the bushes, you'd say there's something wrong with us because we do, but we go out certain hours. The big traffic times happen to be 7 in the morning to about 9, and then we have the afternoon, and this is like 3:30, I'd say, to 6 when all this happens. So we don't go out when calm things are. Averages do give you what it is earlier, later, altogether. And the other thing is these lights, as we're hiding, they go from red to green to all of these different numbers. So we do pop into the 40s with some of these when we're standing out there watching it. But on an average, it would not average out that way. But that doesn't mean that at certain hours there aren't speeders and that there aren't doing it. And there are culprits that are there. What we would love to do is, Jim sent me on a mission over to Mamaroneck, driving around, and psychologically, those things do affect how fast you go. You worry about the lines, you move here and there. So I'm hoping that there aren't laws that will prevent us from being able to have some of these things to slow down the culprits that are at those worst times. Not that everybody is doing it all the time. And of course, when Melly Marshall knocked off the mirror on our car, we did not report her, but people do hit cars every now and then. But John, I made him let me go first.
Okay.
We own the road. It's not a state or county road, so there are no restrictions on how we stripe it. As long as we get neighborhood consensus and support, we can put an end line, we can put hashes. You see, we did it on Midland. We could do whatever the neighborhood would support. And you're absolutely correct. You see it in many, many locations. Roadway striping works. It has a magical way of pulling cars into lanes. The turn lanes here with arrows have made a huge difference in stacking of cars and staging of cars. So we are not restricted in any way, shape, or form in how we stripe.
But the only thing we are, because I still can't believe it, up until, 2 or 3 years ago, was 30 miles an hour for every village. And it was Amy Pollan that got it dropped with our support and a lot of small communities' support. But that's the only thing, we can't touch the speed limit.
Correct.
Well, okay. Hi.
So I'm Cece Harity, and I've been working on this with Jim, I feel like, for a while, and before that with Chief Satriali. The first time Chief Satriali and I started working is when the line was moved to just a single going up and double on the side that I'm on. And I think originally we thought that would work. I think Jim could attest to the fact that we stood out there for 30 minutes when there was, I don't know, at least 10 cars parked for construction going to the corner. And it was terribly scary, the amount of people that drive down the middle of the road. And how many near accidents did we witness in that 30 minutes? I mean, countless. We took pictures, we took videos, you were issuing, please don't park here tickets. I mean, this is not made up. My car was totaled right in front of my house because I had just moved it for 1 second to put another car out. A neighbor came by, she didn't see my car because of the sun. My car was completely totaled. I missed probably being a traffic accident by a minute. My car, I don't care that my car was totaled. I was glad that she was safe, her child was safe, their airbags went off. There are so many of these, I can't even tell you. Anyone who lives on the hilltop will tell you, coming up Avon, when they're going to take the left onto Prescott, or coming down Avon, people, like we're talking about cars that are unfamiliar, it is terrible. So I'm not doing this. I don't care if people park in front of my house. Have at it. It's just unsafe because they go around on a blind corner. So I think for any of us to pretend that this is not a horrible almost terrible accident waiting to happen. I don't want to wait for the data. I just think we are talking about 30 feet on a corner. And why is it okay to have the other side of the street completely blocked off with no parking and not this side? It's a small thing. I think we restripe down the middle. We allow parking on both sides of the street so you don't have everyone going out into the middle of the road anymore. This way you can have people pass on both sides slowly, carefully. That's my piece.
Okay, thank you, Cece.
Good evening, Mary Smith, 36 Avon Road. There's one thing that has not been mentioned, except maybe a little in passing when Cece mentioned that her car was totaled because of sun glare. There was a long-term resident, Moose Copeland, who lived at 60 Prescott for a long time. Moose was walking to the train, and he was hit by a car that claimed that he was impaired because of sun glare. That car was going to the east. Cars going on Avon up, going east, have blinding sun glare. I know it's a natural phenomenon. I'm sorry we can't do anything about it, but we can. If we move the parking right by Prescott and Avon, move it down closer to my house, I would like more people to be alive and not get involved in any sort of accident. Move it down sufficiently so that the sun glare is not impacting them. Most especially, we're talking about a lot of this data is when the weather is somewhat good. When the weather is bad and there's snow and ice and the sun glare and people trying to get around, I think it's a euphemism to call it a curve. It's a right angle. And there are so many times that we have seen people almost getting clipped with their cars. It is a very, very unsafe area. And the fact that we have not had a more severe accident is just the luck of the draw at this point. Something has to be done. Slowing it down, but also I was sitting here waiting for more people to talk about the sun glare, which is, it's a natural phenomenon, but we have to deal with it.
Could you just clarify whether it's a sun glare problem in the morning or the
It's
afternoon or both?
predominantly in the morning, predominantly when you're going east. It is blinding. In the winter, it is especially blinding. And the roads are troublesome with ice or snow, even though we do a good job. People, and they're going around that, not a curve, a right angle, sorry. And it's very, very dangerous. So something has to be done. That's it.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you all for the effort you're putting in on all this. We appreciate that. I'm actually intrigued by a little bit of the data. I'm not sure I understand it and how it's collected. But when I see an average speed of 27, I'm reminded that a car going 44 miles an hour down our street, the second car going 10 miles an hour, the average speed of those two cars is 27 miles an hour. So I don't know how you, these averages reflect these higher speeds that come down our street. I think it might be useful sometime come out, I'll give you a glass of water, you sit with me and watch those signs. And we routinely get cars over 35 to 40 miles an hour. And I know they may not show up in the averages, but trust me, they're there. And actually one evening I yelled at some guy who was going 46 down the road towards Sagamore. I yelled at him. He turned around, came back and told me he lived in Bronxville. He had a right to speed. I mean, can you imagine? What a right is that? I know Bronxville, and people, those kinds of rights. I've also gotten out there, sometimes I'm washing my car, I'll start spraying, people come by at 40 miles an hour, 35. My neighbors come out and cheer me. They're all happy to see it, and they say, we should be doing that too. But trust me, I don't think the cars that ran into Madron's trees and our sidewalk recently were going 27 miles an hour. They just didn't make that turn. So it is the real, I think everybody who lives on the street, we see those signs, and we see the number of people are going over 30, 35, sometimes 45 miles an hour. I actually, one kid came by one day, I think he saw that sign, he actually speeded up to see how fast he could make that sign. Go. You got these oddballs that come through. So that's my only comment about the data. You'll see a different experience if you just come spend 1 hour with it. I'll give you a glass of cold water.
I will spend 2 hours with you any day. Just a note on the speed signs, that they're not accurate. They're not up there to record data. We did not pull the data from those signs. This is satellite. So the signs help to slow people down when we put the warning, you're speeding, everything, but they're never calibrated. They're not a radar unit. They're a separate solar unit. So I understand that the average definitely includes cars that are going more than 27. That's the law of averages. But please don't rely on the solar speed signs we put up. We recently moved it to 25, so the warning will come on sooner. But we can't rely on that information, and there's really no data to pull from it. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I'll take a ginger ale and with ice, and I'll come up and we'll look at potentially moving those signs. We'll look at potentially adding curve signs, and we'll resolve as many of the issues as you're bringing up as we can.
While you're up there, Chief, could you address, I think CC mentioned the possibility of removing the restriction on the north side of Avon for parking. You want to address that from your point
Well,
of view?
yeah, I don't know how this proposed legislation was presented, but it sounds like that recommendation or suggestion is to not prohibit any parking, move the WL line over and let them park on both sides. I don't think that road supports that. I just don't think it's wide enough to have that for truck. I know, and I think we identified the fact that it's as much as you don't like it, it's a main thoroughfare from Sagamore, our truck route, to Midland, and it didn't support that. There's a fire hydrant there that's not properly marked really as a fire zone, and there are driveways on both sides. So it's an idea to look at, but when our engineer's here, we'll certainly talk to him about that. But I'm not sure if the road supports a WL line in the center and parking on both. But I'll look at it.
Is there a
Absolutely.
certain width that supports that?
Well, we'd like to have the travel lanes 11 feet. There are places where the engineer has supported 10, but minimum is 10 for the travel lanes, and that's from the end line to the double yellow. And then you need a certain amount of parking for cars on both sides. So we'll look at it, but at this point, it's completely opposite of what you're considering now. It's adding parking on the other side and moving it over. So we'll put it on the list.
Chief, I think Mrs. Precinct may have had a question. If you could maybe bring the microphone over to Mrs. Precinct.
How quickly can the traffic engineer get out there?
I'll follow up with them in the morning.
Okay.
Madron Precinct. I live at 44 Avon. I've lived there for 53 years. I have to tell you that my friends, when they come to pick me up, are afraid to drive in my driveway because trying to back out of my driveway, they are certainly driving very rapidly. Not only if you are partially out of the driveway, the cars that are coming at a good clip drive right around you. And I'm just waiting for one of my friends who has been very kind to come and pick me up, who their car is going to be hit because they can't look in every direction. When we first moved here, as I say, it's been actually 54 years now that I think about it. I had no problems with a driveway and with the road. Now it is extremely dangerous, and I am the one who they have not, because I am on the curve, they have not been able to make the curve, have driven over my front steps, have knocked down two arborvitae, very tall trees. I would like to question, I do question when these recordings of the speed limit were, because I think at certain times the speed isn't as bad, but there is enough of it that it is, I live in a very I'm afraid it might be a problem when I go to sell my house.
The data is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that we pulled from. It averages out every car driving up and down.
But it's not segmented like 7 to 9 in the morning or 3 to 5 in the afternoon. It's a 24-hour average, not
24-hour average.
Okay.
We can,
Is there any
If-
way to
if-
recalibrate to understand the 7 a.m. to 9 and, move it to when the neighbors say there's almost like pockets of time that are worse than others?
if we purchase the software, which I'm sure after our discussion in executive session, the board's supportive of it, we can then extract a lot of different data. This was, again, a
demo.
favor that the company did to try and sell their product to give to us on a 24-hour basis for
Okay.
2.5 months. But the software will allow us to go backwards in time and pull data on volume
Okay.
and speed, and also spell out time periods.
Okay. Because theoretically, just they could be speeding 7 to 9, and then there's a lull, and the lull creates the average. Yeah, okay.
I'm just reading the summary report that we have, but there is a certain breakdown. First of all, the speeds are a little bit lower on the weekends. They range from 20 miles per hour on Sunday to 28 miles per hour on weekdays, particularly on Thursdays and Fridays. Traffic speeds, this is the summary breakdown. Heat map, as they call it, indicates the traffic speeds are relatively stable throughout the day, with slight increases during the midday and early afternoon periods, where average speeds reach up to 29 miles per hour. Conversely, the overnight hours show the lowest speeds, averaging around 26 miles per hour, likely due to reduced volumes.
Well, I think, and without speaking, I guess speaking for myself, it's clear we need to do something, and we need to do it in cooperation with the neighbors. And I'm just appreciate that you took the time to come down tonight, because, we need the people who sit outside, look out the window, yes, the data collectors.
Yelling at the
CEOs.
speakers.
We might have to take away his garden hose, though. That could be an issue. That might be part of the solution. Okay. So we will you will call our,
He's very good. We'll get him right out.
we'll get him
yeah.
out there, because I don't
Maybe
think
this week.
my colleagues, I think we all agree that the question is what's the most effective, and I always believe, and it might not be, but the less we can gum up the neighborhood with signs and stuff, that, if we can do it and still retain as residential a look as possible, and that's something we'll share with you. Like, for example, I know, not to pick on Yonkers, but I was over there the other day, and they have speed humps on half of the residential streets, and they're frankly all illegal if there was an accident, because you have to have signs in New York State that say speed hump 15 feet, and you have to have them going both ways on both sides of the road. And a lot of people don't want those signs, and I don't blame them, on their front lawns or, right outside their house. But if there is an accident without those, the village is liable. And so there's just things like that, that speed humps are, oh, and the speed hump itself is supposed to be fluorescent paint. And nobody, I mean, who wants that either? So we have to be careful in terms of village liability. When you put things in, something happens, then it's on us if it's not correctly signed and painted. So that's just something else to think about, the aesthetics of fixing the road. But we will most certainly get our gentleman on it and not do anything without consultation with the people who live next to it.
And Mayor, I think as we discussed at the work session, I think there was a consensus to try to find kind of a holistic approach to
Parking
sort of dealing with
plus,
parking, speed, safety of that turn, and have someone
Right.
look at it and not do a piecemeal approach, but, give it a serious look and try to do what we can to improve,
Well said, yeah.
holistically.
Yeah, yeah, okay. We are not allowed. You can see, the New York State
Just for people on
legislature-
TV, the question was, why don't we have speed cameras to enforce?
Yeah, because Yonkers have special legislation and Buffalo has it, New York City has it, where there's about, it's amazing what the state law, we are not allowed to have them. Yeah, and it's from Albany. And we've tried with our smaller neighbors, but to no avail, put it that way. Right, is that correct, Chief? Because I talked to all my fellow mayors and we get no traction in small places.
City.
Right now, it has to be a city.
I'm not quite sure how, I know New York City has their own
Right, they have
authority.
their
and
own.
I'm not aware of any in Yonkers. Speed cameras, red light cameras, yes. So I wouldn't say it has to be a city or a certain population. If they're there, I will find out how.
Okay,
But I
because
know
the
for a fact-
assemblywoman told me at this juncture, you have to be, even to consider them, you have to have a city status.
Yeah.
Not that every city can get them, but,
I don't know the qualifications. I just know that
okay,
New York City is the only one locally that
okay.
have been permitted. to-
Yonkers, but we can't have those red light ones that Yonkers,
We could have red light cameras.
we could
Yes,
have
we could.
their camera.
That we
Okay,
could,
but not theirs, not speed camera.
correct.
Okay. Okay. Right. Trustees, anything else before? I think so. We will leave this public hearing open. And if you have any other thoughts, ideas, neighbors who couldn't come, people who want to weigh in, just tell them to email. They don't have to come down here. They can, probably email's best because then we'll have it on record as opposed to a phone call. And then if you email any one of us, it gets shared to everyone. So you need to email one and it will get to 6 or 7. And thank you. Thank you for coming. And I think between all of you, I don't even want to guess how many years you've lived on that road, as I know all of you. It's over a century for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, the chief also taught me the volume because we're such a popular place for Uber and Lyfts to get to anywhere that you showed me one day they circled the village because they want to be the guy that can get to you in 2 minutes. They don't want to be 10 minutes away. So we're such a hot market that and now I've learned to, and it's kind of staggering how many of those wait for us to call.
You can see it
Yeah.
in real time with the reduction in staff of our Bronxville Depot taxi. I
Yeah.
used to license the taxis. They'd have 60 drivers. They've had 17 cabs and 10 limos. They're down to 5 drivers and 3 or 4 cars.
Oh.
And that's a result of the Uber and Lyft people just driving around on the app and getting called.
Yeah.
So it's not just us, it's everywhere. And the
Yeah.
transportation's changed, systems have changed, and not always for the better. You know, I've told the board how many times we raised our children saying, don't talk to strangers, don't get in a stranger's car, don't take a ride from somebody you don't know. We get on our phone and call a stranger and have them pick us up at our house and get in the car and you don't know them. Times have changed and not always for the better.
Yeah.
More convenient, but
Yeah, good point. All right, thank you. And you're
Thank you.
certainly
Thanks,
welcome
Ellen. Thanks.
to,
Yep.
thank you all for coming. Thank you. I appreciate it, especially you, Madron. Thank you for
Commendation to Officer.
yes.
Thank you, everybody. All righty, I will go back. I will quickly go through the mayor's report. I just wanted to share
Oh, he does. Oh, okay, good.
that the Bremerton Village benefit was a huge success. I think they said they had 185 people. So congratulations to them because they do a great service. I have to mention while the chief's here, he and I were judges. Memorial Day was a huge success. I congratulated so many of the women who ran it. And the chief and I had to taste 41 baked goods in a row.
And you think you're complaining.
Yeah.
This is like your favorite thing of the year to do. I've tried to get in on that,
You get-
and I've been pushed
I
aside.
want you to feel sorry for, I had a bit of a sugar headache and the chief's stomach bothered him. So we're really, valiant warriors for the village. And then I judged the dog show as well. It broke our heart to cancel the parade, but so many of the bands made a point of saying to me they couldn't even bring out their instruments in that kind of weather. And I have to say, our grand marshals are coming back next year, and Randy and Corky Frost were the most gracious people that anybody could imagine. And Corky played the French horn in the parade when he was in high school here. So he told me he knows all about not having those instruments out in the bad weather.
And thanks to Mary for all the work you did to.
I don't even
put
want
it
to, Mary Ann,
together.
because of the 250th, this was going to be our biggest parade. And Mary Ann started first of the year, at least. So I know. She probably took it the hardest. Yeah. Just other events, I'll have my colleagues share what's going on at in the village and the town. But Wednesday night, the 10th, coming up, our county legislator is offering just come to the movie theater. I think you have to register, and he's treating everybody to the Knicks game on a wide screen with soda and popcorn. And this Saturday, I'm going to the Color Run, which I would recommend anybody going to. The school has started to do, it's the actually a Hindu spring festival that's just completely joyous, celebrates spring, and they let me throw all sorts of glitter paint on people, and it's quite cathartic. And this Sunday, 4 to 6, the Bronxville Beautification Council is having their garden party. You can still sign up, go to their site on the internet. And then I just wanted to share, last Thursday, the elementary school did a whole ceremony to commemorate the the 250th anniversary, and it was about the nicest thing I've seen, with the entire school marching around in costumes and signs, and then they had little factoids about the 250th anniversary, and I have to say it was probably my favorite thing. And just to tell people, the 20th at 6:30 is the high school graduation, and everybody, as you know, is invited to stand in the back on the sidewalk and watch everyone graduate. And I think that's all I have, so I will go to Trustee Fredericks.
Thank you, Mayor. Two items. First of all, thank you once again to our wonderfully efficient village administrator, Jim Palmer. I had pointed out to him that I and some other residents had noticed a really hazardous broken storm drain right by the southern underpass adjacent to the Craft Avenue parking lot. And in typical fashion, it was fixed within 24 hours. So thank you, Jim, and the DPW folks for doing that, because that was not a good thing to have fixed, but the concrete and asphalt and new storm drain were Johnny on the spot fixed. So thank you. Second, the mayor and I had the very beneficial opportunity of meeting with two executives at New York Presbyterian Westchester, also known to some of us as Lawrence Hospital, or still in my mind known as Lawrence Hospital. They have worked with a group of local residents to help fund plans to create a pediatric emergency room department at the hospital that would be adjacent to the existing ER. It certainly appeared to the mayor and I that this offered benefits both to adult users of emergency room services and to our younger residents and residents of our adjacent communities who would benefit from having a specialized pediatric emergency facility. The fundraising activity on that has gone very well so far, but we appreciated having a heads up on their proposed concepts. Those will, of course, be subject to appropriate village planning and or zoning board review, but it was a nice opportunity to hear from them. They also reported that the partnership that they have with Iona University on their nursing training programs are continuing to go well. I think it's one of the most exciting synergistic relationships in the village between two of the village's largest and most important institutions. And I think, Mayor, I'll flip it back to you. I think it was just nice to have an opportunity to share that communication and to make sure that we were capitalizing on opportunities that could appropriately really improve things for the village. I thought it was a very helpful and informative discussion.
Perfect. All right. Trustee Nat.
Just a couple things. We had a very successful Take Back Day. Thank you so much to the Green Committee and Ellen Edwards for all the planning and organizing and staffing of the Take Back Day, because it's really a very involved event that takes a lot of hands, but it's such a great service to using and shredding. The other thing, just to mention, again, a reminder of the many wonderful events that the Eastchester, Bronxville, and Tuckahoe 250th Committee is creating this year to celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary. The highlight, or there's many events that they're planning throughout the year, but the kind of the showcase event is coming up on July 11th. So it's kind of an all-day commemoration that coincides with the first reading of the Declaration of Independence at the White Plains Courthouse steps on July 11th, 1776. So July 11th is really the day. It's going to start with a town-wide parade, kicking off at 11 a.m. at the Immaculate Conception Parish. It's ending at Lake Isle, where there's going to be a barbecue lunch on the driving range, along with live music.
We're old. We're old. Loud live music.
And other festivities. I think George Washington's going to make an appearance. You know, it's really going to be a fun event for the whole family. There's also going to be a student reading of the Declaration of Independence from student representatives from the 3 schools, Eastchester, Bronxville, and Tuckahoe. And then there is going to be, the evening will be topped off by fireworks at Tuckahoe's Parkway Road Oval Park. So a wonderful day to celebrate the nation's 250th. We also celebrated our 250th commemoration with the Liberty Tree planting. Did you mention that already?
No.
Over the
Thank
Friday
you.
Memorial Day weekend. So we have a wonderful bur oak tree on the library lawn facing Midland Avenue. And there's a nice plaque there that shows the importance of the Liberty Tree. And we're happy to have celebrated that Memorial Day weekend. And if you wanted to learn more about what other events are going on with the Eastchester 250th celebration, they have a very full website. It is ebt250committee.com. So it lays out all the events of the year.
Perfect. And this will be a good time. There's great pictures of the Liberty Tree planting in our newsletter. And our village, assistant village administrator has upped the work so hard on that newsletter. And just, it's a plug for people to please sign up for it, because Thomas literally puts everything that's going on in the village in it, complete with terrific pictures. So just, we'd love people. The saddest part is how hard Thomas works on it, Mary Ann, Jim, and then folks say, I didn't know the village had a newsletter. So, so please sign up for it.
And just, call anyone in Village Hall, and I'm sure they can give you the sign up
Yeah, we'll
information.
help
You
you
get
out.
it by email. It's wonderful.
Okay, and Trustee Ofrio.
And speaking of things going on around the village, we have the car show. Bronxville's annual car show is taking place on June 18th at 5:30, and that is featuring a Grateful Dead cover band and lots of vintage cars, and a fantastic evening for everyone to walk around, see the different cars. Sometimes they let you sit inside, sometimes they don't. So we hope everyone comes out for that. And then we also have there are 4 nights that the Picture House is going to broadcast the World Cup USA games. Tickets are $5, and those are on the 12th, 19th, 25th, and 19th of July. 4 evenings where you'll be able to see World Cup matches. Go USA.
Perfect. You know, our Picture House is really between the Knicks and the soccer and everything else they do. They're a great community partner.
Mayor, I just wanted to mention one other thing. Since, as we frequently do, we have Planning Board member James Hayden here with us in the audience. I want to thank him and Zoning Board Chair Stuart McIntosh for helping the board out in some consulting activities relating to, enforcement of the village's signage code, and I think, as he previously said, an open session. That's something that we're seriously looking at, and so I wanted to thank Mr. Hayden for his contributions to that effort. And also for people who are looking ahead for 250th anniversary events, my wife told me, and I've just confirmed on the internet, that it's not in July, but in October, there will apparently be a reenactment of the Battle of White Plains on October 24th or 25th. So, a whole year of 250 celebrations in Westchester.
Thank you. And I just want to say, I should have said thank you to you and Mr. Palmer. I would have, if we had a parade and somehow because it rained, I did not say thank you because your work was just as hard, rain or shine. When you work at Village Hall, it's pretty funny. When you hire someone like Marianne or Jim Palmer, and you say part of your duties is to organize a parade, they think it's a funny little joke, and it's not. So, so thank you both, because I know how hard you worked. And Mr. Palmer, do you have anything under village administrator?
I'm going to be real brief. It's in the newsletter. Again, to your point, thank you, Thomas. Terrific work. But for those that didn't read the newsletter, the improvements at 22 and Pondfield, 15 plus years in the making. DOT finally awarded the contract through the Region 8 office to include the crosswalk improvements, pedestrian heads, countdown buttons at all corners. The work is underway. It was awarded to Verde Electric Corp. And Verde Electric does all the traffic signal work. So this is their bailiwick, but it's underway and it should be done by the end of August for the start of the school year. So wanted to mention that. And also just that in the newsletter, we have an update after a brief pause due to some specialized steel piles that were being shaped specifically to sit and rest on the rock in the Crawford Drainage Project. That, again, that work was temporarily paused. Those materials are due in within the next couple of weeks, so the project will start back up in earnest no later than after the July 4th holiday. So, and the contractor has assured us they'll make up for that time and still get hopefully most of that earth moving well done in advance of the start of school. So anyway, that schedule's on the website.
Jim, the improvements at the intersection of Pondfield and 22, they don't need specialized material poles that they have to order? They just, that doesn't delay the process any more than the end of August? That's amazingly fast.
I know, this is what they're telling me. Although I got to say, if there's any company that can track down equipment, our signal's very outdated. We did have to wait, I think 2 weeks. Everyone saw the blinking signal over here at Kraft and Midland and thought we were testing something, but we needed to get a new cabinet. But my understanding is they have that. Right now, they're just bouncing back and forth between another project. When this was bid out, there's 8 other signal improvements being done in Lower Westchester, but this is what they're telling us. So, yep.
Thank you so much for.
And our engineer has been great.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's really been something you've had to push mightily on.
That's it for me. Other than everyone, please remember to take a look at your hedges and shrubs. Thomas is also, when he's not working on the newsletter, I always hound him about going out and check the hedges and the arborvitaes to make sure everyone's sidewalks are accessible. So please, we cut and paste that section of the code. And it seems like it's a surprise to people, but you do need to maintain those hedges and shrubs that abut the sidewalks and corners of your property. We don't want any traffic signals blocked.
And Thomas is really becoming a regular around here because when he drove me around today, he told me who the nice people were who trimmed their hedges. And yeah. So you're part of us now, Thomas, because he knows the address there. Now there's a good one. Yeah. So get on Thomas's good side. Oh, okay, we just have a couple of resolutions of not earth-shattering, but a wonderful hiring of Faith Ramirez as a parking enforcement officer / crossing guard, which we need. And Faith has done that work in the past for Tuckahoe and Larchmont, so a veteran of that job. So would someone like to move the appointment of Faith?
I'll move.
Okay, in a second.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes, and we welcome Faith. And
When is she starting?
Wait, is she already started?
Today.
Yeah, that's what I thought today was.
Yep, she's
okay.
taking, our previous PEO crossing guard, ended up taking a position as police officer with the city of New York. So,
Oh, well, good, yeah. All right, and do you want to, I think this famous traffic, the signal upgrade you talked about at Crafton Midland, which
That's
we
the one we
just
did.
talked about, and that's,
$26,460 expense. If you could just authorize that funding, we consider it an emergency.
yeah, I will move that, and I need a second.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye, opposed? Motion passes. And then fencing replacement, this is at the Cedar Street parking lot, and this is just to continue that.
But we've been replacing it all, so.
Yeah,
for
we've
another
kind of done it
14,000. Yep.
segmented, and this is the next segment. And Mr. Palmer, do you have an amount on that, just so I can announce
Just under
it?
14,000, yep.
Okay, so it's-
13,990, yep.
Okay, so it's authorizing 14,000 to keep fixing our Cedar Street parking lot. Do I have a motion to move in a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. And, this one is, going to have, it's an important one. We all discussed, many of our merchants, by way of background, love to keep their doors open, like on a day like today, and there's some outdoor sidewalk dining that folks are smoking, and they're smoking cigarettes, they're smoking everything, because you can, in New York state law, you can smoke wherever you can smoke cigarettes, you can smoke anything. And our merchants asked if there was a way that, the little quality of life in their businesses with the smell. So council helped us.
How would you say merchants and residents, people walking on the
Residents, good point,
sidewalks,
yeah.
People living in the
That's,
apartments on
Yeah.
that street, so.
and I've had a couple lawyers' offices tell me that they don't open their second floor windows because of the wafting up. That's a good point. It's everybody. We've heard from all the constituent groups. So we've added a condition when you go for a sidewalk and street dining permit or have one, we have added a condition that with that privilege comes no smoking. And the owner of the establishment will be in charge of policing their operation. And frankly, if it's not policed, you are not abiding by your permit, so you will lose your permit. So there will be no smoking at any sidewalk or street dining in the village.
I'd just add, this is also consistent with the general rule against smoking
in food establishments, right?
Yeah, and fellow diners can also, offended may be too strong a word, but it can interfere with their dining experience to have that. So I think it's consistent
Good
with
point.
the broader
It's not just,
rule about dining.
yeah, everybody is, all right. So I will move this, and do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And I think that's all we have of new business. Trustees, did we forget anything? Does anyone have, we're back here on July 13th. And would anyone in the audience, our audience has depleted greatly, but if there's any comments from the audience, and seeing none, do I have a motion to close our June meeting?
So moved.
And a second. All those in favor? Aye. All righty. Thank you, everyone, and
Thank you.
see you on the 13th. How are you feeling?